Okay, hi everyone, we're carrying on with angles and triangles today. So a quick starter is here. Can you name all of these types of triangles? So we've got a right angle, so well done if you got that one. Next one up, we've got an acute angle, we've got an obtuse, and this one is more than 180, so that is a reflex angle. Okay, a bit of a recap from the past few lessons. So angles around a point. So it's important that we know doing a full turn, that is 360 degrees. So because of that, we know that if we have angles that add up to a full turn, then they add up to 360. So here we've got A, B, C and D. We can see that if you put them all together, we get a full circle. So that means that A add B add C add D equals 360. Okay, next up is angles on a straight line. So we can see this is half of a full circle. So that means it's going to be half of 360, so that is 180. So in this one we've got A and B, and they add together to make a half turn. So that means A plus B equals 180. Okay, angles in a triangle. So last lesson we saw that if we add up all of the angles in a triangle, we get 180 degrees. So in this case, A add B add C equals 180. We can see that if we take them out and put them together, we get angles on a straight line. So it makes sense that they're the same. Okay, so this is the first new thing we're going to look at today, and this is angles in an isosceles triangle. So this is a specific type of triangle in which two of the sides are the same and two of the angles are the same. And we represent sides being the same with this dash symbol here. So we can see that these two lines have got a dash on them, and what that means is that these two lines are the same length as each other. So that is two sides the same. And isosceles triangles also have two angles the same. So how do we know which angles they are? Well, we can see that we've got our two sides that are the same, which means this side is different. When we know which is the different side, the different angle is always the one opposite that. So if we've got a different side, different angle is opposite, so that gives us our different angle. So if we know that the one different one, that means that this one and this one are the same. So we can see we've got two sides the same and we've got two angles the same. And we've got this rule to tell us which is the different angle. And we're going to see how we can use this today. So, we'll sometimes get questions like this where we're given an isosceles triangle and we can tell that because of the dashes here and here. So you can see we've got two sides the same. And this question is saying find angle X. So I'm sure some of you can do this already from what we did last lesson. So we know that all the angles in a triangle added together give us 180. So we've got 50 plus x equals 180. So we can add together 50 and 50, so that gives us 100 plus x, which we don't know, equals 180. So 100 plus something equals 180. So that tells us, so if we take away 100 from both sides, that tells us x equals 80. So we've worked this out by doing 180 minus 100, equals 80. So therefore, x equals 80. So you can work out from that x equals 80 degrees. And this one we could have done last lesson because we've given two of the angles here, and we just have to work out the third one. What we're going to look at next is what we're learning that's new today. So on this one, we're only given one angle. We're given this 40 degrees. But because of these dashes, we can tell that this is an isosceles triangle. So what we're going to do is write on the different side. So this is our different side because that one doesn't have a dash. And then what we can do from there, we know that the angle that is opposite the different side is the different angle. So that tells us that this angle over here, x, that is the different angle. So if we know that, we can then work out, okay, so if that's the different angle, this one must be the same. So we've got 40 and 40. So now back to where we were with the previous question. We've got two angles now, we just need to work out the third. So we can do 40 plus x equals 180. So we can add 40 and 40, so we've got 80 plus x equals 180. So from there we can do 180 minus 80 equals 100. So we've worked out x equals 100 degrees. So we've worked out our missing angle now. So you can see, if we notice an isosceles, we can work out some angles from this. So we're going to do another couple of examples. Okay, so this one, again, we're trying to find a missing angle. So we've got sides here, and so we've got our different side here. So notice every time I'm labelling it, that is so I don't get confused and make a mistake. So if I've labelled this the different side, that means that this is the different angle. Which means, if we know that these two are the same, so this one and this one, that means this has to be x as well. So what we've got now is 40 plus x plus x. And we know that that must equal 180 because angles in a triangle always add up to 180. So at the moment there's not a lot I can do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 40 from both sides. So I've got x plus x equals, and then 180 minus 40 is 140. So I've taken away x from here, so I've also got to take it away from this side. So I've got x plus x equals 140. So 2 lots of x equals 140. So to work out what x is, all I would do is halve this, because I've got x out of x. If I just want 1 lot of x, I'm going to have to divide it by 2. So dividing by 2, because I could write this as 2x equals 140, because I've got x plus x. So dividing by 2, that gives me x equals, and then 140 divided by 2 is 70. So that tells me the missing angle x is 70. And that is the case for both of these. These are both 70, because they're both the same. So I can check my answer. So 70, 70 and 40. If we've done this right, it should add up to 180. So 0, 7 add, so 8, carry 1, 180. So we can see we've got the correct answer. So it's a little bit trickier, these ones, because we've got to work out what's missing and then halve it, because there's 2 of those angles. So let's do another one. Okay, so here's one to have a go at. So if you feel like you've got the hang of the previous one, pause the video now and have a go at this. If you want to just watch it as another example, that is fine though. So we're trying to find our missing angle x again. So first thing to do is label up which is our different side. So you can see we've got 2 sides the same, because they've got the dash, which means this one is different. So when we've got a different side, all we need to do to work out which is the different angle is look at the one opposite. So that means that 80 is the different angle. So I've got my different side, I've got my different angle. So because I know this is the different one, I know that this is the same as this. So these are both x. So now I'm going to write out 80 plus x plus x. So there's all the angles in a triangle, and we know that they add up to 180. So now I can take away 80 from both sides. So I've got x plus x equals, so then 180 minus 80 is just 100. So then I've got my 2 x's add together equals 100. So to work out what just one x is, I need to halve it. So I'm going to divide by 2. So I just end up with x equals, and then 100 divided by 2 equals 50. So x equals 50. So I can write them in and then check my answer. So 50, 50 and 80. Let's add them together. So 0, 5 add 5 add 8, so it's 18. So we end up with 180. And we can see we've got our final answer. And that is correct because they do add up to 180, which is what they should do in a triangle. Okay, so now to go on to the main task. So I've attached a worksheet to the Firefly task. So I want you to have a go at that. You can come back and watch the video. I will link a Core Maths video as well if you want some extra examples. So if you do finish that in enough time, there is an optional task after this as well, if you're feeling very keen to get a bit of extra maths practice. But the extra bit is optional, so you don't have to do that. So if you do the isosceles work and you're happy that you've done enough for today, that is fine, really don't worry about the next thing. Okay, so this is the extension bit, so this is optional, but it is really useful. So if you do want to have a go through this, stay on the video. Okay, so there's one more rule that we haven't looked at with angles, and we won't look at this apart from as the extension stuff. And that is the rule with vertically opposite angles. And what that means is angles that are opposite each other on straight lines like this are equal. So in this case, we can see that D and B, we can see that they're opposite each other because they're not sort of in contact with each other apart from at this point. So these two are opposite, so that means that D equals B. Those angles are equal. So let's say D was 20 degrees, B would also be 20 degrees. And also, we know that A and C, they're opposite each other, so that means they're also equal. So that means that A equals C. So if C was 160, A would also be 160. And this is the last rule we need to do to be able to do the task. So just a quick check that you've got it. So if you want to just check you've understood, pause the video now, and I want you to write out what angle A is and what angle B is. So pause. Okay, so angle A is opposite 138. So A is 138 degrees. B is opposite 42. So B is 42 degrees. So if you've got that, you should be fine to do the task. So what the task is, again, I've attached that to Firefly. I have put option on the title so you know which one it is. This is a cross number, and this is checking all the angle stuff we've done so far, and also that rule that we've just looked at. So it's really good practice, and it's quite a fun little cross number. So you should be able to check your own answers with this, because if you get one wrong, it won't fit. But I will put the answers up as well on this video. Okay, here's the answers to the cross number. So check your answers, check you got them right. If you did, feel free to send me a picture of your finished crossword, and I'll put an achievement point on for doing the extra work. Really well done, and see you tomorrow.